Hello, this is our project Web and IoT based Smart City applications for EC 4099 Capstone project. So first we come to problem definition and objective. Here we have focused on a real life problem and the existing cities are taken into consideration and the real life problems are identified in it. We look into the different existing applications of the city and observe their functioning. We focus on the models such as traffic system, vehicle, parking systems, weather station and waste management. The existing gaps or problems are identified in the existing models and we come up with our idea or we propose our models on these four of the blocks and we come up with this idea to construct the whole thing to a smart city, and this would be of great help to human beings, and our main objective or motive is to make life easier in a city. So now we will come to technologies focused and the methodology used in the projects. First, the technology we use is image processing. Here these are the phases of image processing which are the different parts of the image processing. We use some of these techniques, like we use acquisition where we take the image and do some scaling and gray scale color and gray scale operations, and then we proceed on to the further steps, and we now also focus on morphological processing, segmentation procedure or image segmentation or feature extraction, and object detection or recognition. We will discuss these three in detail in coming slides, and we also focus on these two blocks of image processing, which is digital image processing, which is input to an algorithm is an image and output is also an image, and computer vision where the input is an image and the output is some description or information. The other two blocks are computer graphics and artificial intelligence, which are the other two blocks. We just focus on these two blocks. Now coming to image segmentation, first the most important thing and the only thing we look here is the edge detection techniques, because most of the shape information of image are enclosed in edges, and there are many algorithms or methods in edge detection techniques like Canny, Roberts, Sobel, Prewitt and Zero Cross. We mainly focus on Canny edge detection because of its the double threshold property, which gives the strong and the weak edges in the images, whereas the others they exclude weak edges because they find the edges at those points where the gradient is maximum. Like we can see here, Canny, the more edges are detected here where, with respect to the others. Here all the weak edges and strong edges are detected, so we mainly focus on this. Now here is the main mathematics or the algorithm behind the Canny edge detection method. First, it is noise reduction, where the noise is reduced with a image convolution of Gaussian kernel or Gaussian blur, which we call. The next is the Gaussian calculation, where the edge intensity is calculated and the direction of edges is calculated by convolution of Sobel kernels. Like these are the kernels with the image, and this is the formula for gradient and the slope. And next is the non-maximum suppression, where some edges are thin and some edges are thick, so we mitigate the thick edges and all the edges become thin in this part. And the next part is the double threshold. This is the most important part, and this is why we use Canny edge detection, because it identifies three kinds of pixels, like strong pixels, weak pixels and non-relevant, because there are two thresholds. Above the high threshold is strong pixels, below the low threshold are non-relevant pixels, and in between the high and low threshold are the weak pixels. And the next is the edge tracking hysteresis, because we take into consideration strong and weak pixels. So here we transform all the weak pixels which are near to the strong pixels as strong pixels and make it a binary image. Like the edges will be given in white and the other parts will be given in black. Like what we saw here. Like here it is white and others are black. So the next part is we use this edge detection technique in our project in the smart traffic system. The four parts which we discussed earlier. One is the smart traffic system. We use the canny edge detection algorithm in the smart traffic system, which comes handy in finding out the density of traffic on road. And this is the algorithm or total working of the smart traffic system, which is first we will take a reference image of an empty road, and an instantaneous image is taken every time when the signal becomes red of the road with traffic, and the both images should be of same size or resolution because both will be compared. And canny or Previtt edge detection, anything like canny is used where it is more stationary, and Previtt can be used in some parts where the wind is more because the shadows of trees and all are also taken into account, so Previtt can mitigate the weak edges. So we mainly focus on canny, and it is performed on both the reference and the instantaneous images, and the edge detected images are given as output, and now the edge detected images are compared pixel by pixel and the matching percentage is displayed. So more is the matching percentage means there is less traffic on road, because if an empty road is being compared to a road with traffic and the matching is more, that means the road with traffic is less, means the road is less traffic. And now the timeout is of the green signal is set. It is dynamic timing, like if the matching percentage is more, then the number of vehicles on the road is less, so we keep the green timing as less. So here if the percentage is greater than 90, it is 7 seconds. If it is 70 to 90, then 12 seconds, and accordingly like that. If it increases if the number of vehicles on the road is more, so that it can pass in that amount of time without causing any wastage of time. And based on the above timeouts, the model shows output through the LEDs installed, because we do it in Python coding, and Arduino is interfaced with Python, and the red, yellow, green LEDs are used to simulate the traffic signal. And this is the overall workflow which I discussed in the algorithm. The same thing is given in form of a block diagram. Now we come to the next part, which is object detection or recognition in the image processing part. Here this phase is all about detecting different objects or shapes or paths in an image. We mainly focus on contour detection in the object detection part, as we incorporate this idea in our proposed model, which is up another part of this traffic system, which is the traffic violation alert, which we will come in the coming slides. Now contours are basically closed paths or shapes, and basic image processing operations are required to recognize contour. We use OpenCV Python to detect contours, where which is finding white objects from a black background. Like it is similar to that edge detected images. Like if we find closed shapes of edges or the edges on a black background, it comes as contour. Like to find contour, the edge detected image is taken as input and the closed paths or shapes are identified, which I said. And the contour approximation method is used in OpenCV. We use it comes as two parts, like none and simple, where none stores all the boundary points of the shape, and simple stores only important points and removes redundant points. Like if it is a square, it will store only the 4 points of the vertices of the square and not a whole boundary of the square. So this is very important. And the other parameter is the retrieval method, which will come in the coming slides. Now here the contour approximation, as we said, this is the none type, which I said, like all the boundary points are stored, this blue line, and this is the simple, where only the important points are stored. So we use this simple method as it is advantageous, because we want to find the car number plate where only the 4 points of the rectangle are to be found, because the car number plate always comes as a rectangle. Now the contour retrieval method, like here one is list external C comp and tree. The list stores the contours uh, in all the levels like 1, 2, 3, 4 and all the levels, and it doesn't create any parent-child relationship. Now if a contour comes inside a contour in the list, it will not be taken into consideration like that. Like external only stores the outer contours, like here all the child contours are left behind. Like here only this 2 part will be in 2 2a, this 2 is the above external and this is the child, so only 2 will be taken, 2a and all will not be taken. And CCOMP, it stores in 2 level hierarchy, like this is the higher level and this will be in the lower level, only like this. And this is the most important, we mainly focus on the tree method, where it will retrieve the contours in a fully family hierarchy list. It will take into account the parent-child relationship, like 2a is a child of 2 and 3a is a child of 3. Here are the contours. This is the example, like it will store like this 0, 1, 2, 2a, 3, 3a, 4 and 5, like this it will store. So we take into account this because in an number plate, car number plate, we can have contours inside contours. So here is the proposed designing model. As we said, we use it to recognize the car number plate. So here the tree retrieval mode is used and the simple approximation is used to accommodate only 4 points of the rectangle. So here we take the parent-child relationship is considered in tree retrieval mode, and here we can see this every car number plate comes as a rectangle, and like this we can uh, recognize the number plate. So this part is masked from the car image, and this is given as the result. So next, this is the algorithm, like image of the vehicle that violated the traffic is taken into the algorithm, and edge detection and object recognition is performed. Rectangular contour detection recognizes the vehicle number plate, and this part is masked from the entire image and then cropped, like it is cropped like this, and the cropped image is then showed as output. And also to make the thing more efficient and automated, the program takes that cropped image, this, and it directly mails to the traffic control room, so no policeman or someone is required to note down the numbers, it will be done automatically. Next part of image processing we come is morphological processing. So here we mainly focus on binary images, and we mainly highlight on opening, closing, erosion and dilation properties. We use this morphological processing in the GPS based car parking assistance part of the 4 uh, applications of smart city we have discussed. So erosion is of a binary image is the structural element. It uses a structural element and produces a new binary image with the ones in all locations of the structuring element's origin at which the structural element fits the input image. And there are 2 properties, by the way. One is fitting and another is hitting. So in fitting part, erosion comes into play, and the same thing with the structural element, the hitting part, dilation comes into play. And opening is erosion followed by dilation, and closing is dilation followed by erosion, just the 2 vice versa parts. So next is the morphological processing, the working. Here is, this is the fitting and hitting technique. Like these are the structural element and it hits or fits in the image. Fits means it totally, the whole structural element is as same as the part where it is put in the image matrix. And fitting means this, and hitting means any one part is same as that. So here the erosion, which considers fitting, here it gets rid of the boundary pixels. Like if this part is white and another is black in this binary image, and if we perform erosion by a 3x3 structural element like this, so here we can see it will, in these parts it will not fit properly, so these are turned into black, and the others where it fits are given as white. So it gets rid of the outer boundary pixels, and dilation, it brings back the boundary pixels again. Here we can see here in these parts the structural element will hit the image at any part, it will be 1, so it is increased, the boundary pixels are increased, so they are turned into white here. So these are the difference between erosion and dilation. So we use morphological processing in our model, the car parking system, as I talked about. Here the number of parking spots are calculated in a parking area, like how many parking spots are available. If a car comes, the parking spot gets filled. With this image processing operations, we can determine the number of available parking spots. And the images are captured through cameras, because everywhere nowadays cameras are there. Now disturbance and noise of the image are removed by these operations like opening and closing, and dilation and erosion, because some light effects and some disturbances come in the images, like opening removes small objects and closing removes small holes. Like if some pixels, after converting an image to binary image, if some pixels nearby are turned white, small pixels as areas, and small areas are of the white parts are turned into black, like in disturbances or something. So opening and closing can take care of that, and dilation and erosion can take care of the boundary elements. Like the boundary elements are most important. If some pixels get added by light or in the binary image or something, like noise or disturbance, so on the boundary element part, this dilation and erosion can take care of that thing. Now this is the GPS based car parking assistance, where we have considered the uh, technique of morphological processing. Like this is the determination of the number of available parking spots which I was talking about. Here in the parking area, circular stickers are set up on each floors of the parking spots, and the camera installed takes instantaneous images of the parking area. Whenever a car enters a spot, the sticker gets hidden under the car. Now morphological image processing are used, like erosion, dilation, opening and closing, so that disturbances can be removed from the binary image, which is converted from after taking the instantaneous images. And the circular objects, they are the circular stickers. The circular objects are preserved, so just counting the circular objects will give us the number of available parking spots, like here. So the circular features of the image represent the stickers of the empty spots, and this can be counted and displayed, and this data is sent to the web page which we have developed through the ThingSpeak cloud. First it gets uploaded in the ThingSpeak cloud, and then it is taken from that by the website, and this is displayed on the pop-up window. Like now we will come here, this is the overall system. Like the GPS locations of the parking areas are taken and are displayed on the Google map on the web page which we discussed here, and the instantaneous location of any vehicle is also displayed on the map, and with a certain zoom level we can see the nearby parking spots, parking areas on that map. And just if we click on that parking area, a pop-up window will get up, and it will show the information of the that particular parking area's number of parking spots available, which is determined by this algorithm and is transferred to the web page thing, and we can see that and go and park our vehicle in whichever place we desire. And this makes things easy, and as no effort is needed and manual, like nowadays it is a really hectic thing, so we can take care of that by this system. Now this is the whole thing as we discussed both the algorithms in a form of block diagram. Just the thing, like all these things are of the algorithm are discussed here just in a block diagram. Next is the decision tree algorithm. Like first the technology was image processing, and we discovered all the parts. Now we come to the machine learning part, which is a decision tree algorithm which we have used in our model. Decision tree is the supervised machine learning algorithm, and the goal is to create a training model that we can use to predict the class or the value of a target variable which we want. There are types of basic that decision trees are: categorical variable decision tree and continuous variable decision tree. where a target variable can be categorical or continuous, which is a part like classification and regression thing. Like, and we mainly focus on the classification and regression trees model of the decision tree, and the target variable is fixed in this algorithm, and a class can be identified where the variable could fall, like we have used in it in the weather prediction part, where like temperature, pressure and rainfall are the three parameters. If a target variable is temperature, so the class is temperature. So like this, we can set any kind of formula, and we can determine the prediction of the target variable, and this comes in a form of binary tree. Like in our model, the install, this is the proposed algorithm in the that weather prediction and station. So we install weather sensors to collect temperature, humidity, atmospheric pressure at a period of time, and also the rainfall. If it is yes, it is 1. If it is no, it is 0, with that humidity part only. If it is way more, then we can predict rainfall. And the data is divided into 70% to 30% ratio. The 70% is taken as training data, and 30% is the testing data in that CART algorithm, which is the classification regression tree. And this is the formula: temperature of the next day is equivalent to the present temperature plus present humidity plus rainfall plus atmospheric pressure, which all the variables contribute to the upcoming prediction. And the temperature is the target variable, as we talked here, and it is implemented by us in RStudio. And there are two packages for the decision tree CART algorithm, which is the PARTI and RPART, and the probability of the new predicted value is given as output, like what will be the probability of different temperatures at that certain place in the upcoming days. The results are compared with these above said two packages, and we came up with a solution that this PARTI is way more better than RPART, which we will discuss in coming results part. Now this is the algorithm, like sensors such as DHT11 and pressure sensor and CO sensor are set up. Like the CO sensor part is to create awareness of the rising or falling of carbon monoxide in the city, like just a awareness message displayed on LCD. Like it is, we just subtract the reading of the current day with the previous day, and we determine whether it has risen or fallen for that day, and just display. Now these temperature, humidity and pressure, all the readings are stored for this classification of and regression trees model, as we talked earlier. Now minimum 60 readings are kept as training data set, because if we keep it less, the training will be not that efficient. And the testing data, on the testing data, the trained algorithm is performed, and the results, like the probability as we discussed, those are displayed, and the decision tree is also displayed, which we will see in the results part. Now this is the whole thing as a block diagram, which we mentioned in this algorithm. The other minor techniques are used, like IoT cloud ThingSpeak, in which we try to store all the data so that we can access it from any part of the world, and also this data can be visualized in graphs and CSV. And storing a data in cloud means there is no loss of data, like in hardware storage or something we can have loss of data at any point. Like this is instantaneous uploading of data. When the data is available, it will be uploaded to cloud. Nowadays internet and all those are available, so we don't have to care much. And websites are developed for every block to reduce concerns on the hardware part. We can control it directly through websites, like as we saw the Google Map based website in our car parking system. We will also see it again in the next slide in one part. The collection of data from sensors is done at a higher extent in waste management system, and here the Python program sorts the data with respect to the waste level, which we will come the next part, the waste management part. And the sorting is done in the merge sorting technique, so that to reduce the complexity, here the complexity is big O of n log n, which is the best among all the techniques. Like we have bubble sort, selection sort and insertion sort. We use the merge sorting technique. So next we come to the smart waste management system, the algorithm of the workflow which we have designed. So here dustbins are set up at different places in a city and the GPS locations are taken and these are displayed on the web page we have developed through the Google Map as location markers, and the waste truck is also shown on the map wherever the waste truck is, which goes to clean the garbage. And we have kept track of the waste levels of the dustbin, like the dustbins are attached with ultrasonic sensor or level detector which keeps track of the level of waste in the dustbin. The threshold is kept as 50%. So if any dustbin gets above 50%, it fills above 50%, then the dustbin has to be cleared and the truck will clear the dustbin all across the city. And if the threshold is below 50% of any dustbin, the truck has not to go to that dustbin, does not have to go to that dustbin. So now the waste level data is fed to the algorithm or the Python code which we developed, which I was saying, and this sorts the data in descending order, and the top data and this sorts the data according to the waste level, which is the percentage of waste in the dustbin, which is calculated by the level detector, and the top data is the most filled dustbin, and this value along with the location details is uploaded to the ThingSpeak cloud, and the data is fetched from the cloud to that web page which we have developed, and on the Google map the location marker of that dustbin which is most filled, it is turned to yellow. The others are marked as red, which are the default location markers, and it is turned yellow. We will see this image or the output in the result section afterwards. This makes the system dynamic, and the most needed dustbin which has to be cleared is cleared first. So this is a dynamic approach of clearing the dustbin. It comes very handy because most of the cases many dustbins are like they are filled and they are not being cleared in day by day. So this keeps track of everything, and this dynamic algorithm takes care of everything. And once the dustbin is cleared, the employee of the truck has to show the ID card on the RFID reader. This RFID reader is attached to the dustbin, and the data of the employees and the number of times she or she is cleared the dustbin is being kept track, and this helps in the for the control room to check all the employee data and all that, like number of times they will clear any dustbin, the count will be added by +1, and it will be taken in that CSV file which will be sent to the department. This is the block diagram of this algorithm which we just discussed. The same thing is written in form of a block diagram, and this is the whole prototype which we have created, all the 4 applications which we have proposed and designed: the smart traffic system with violation alert, GPS based car parking assistance, weather station and prediction, and the smart waste management system. Everything is, this is the hardware model. Now we will come to the results which we have obtained after executing all the blocks and this prototype. Now first we come to the smart traffic system part. In this, based on the pixel to pixel matching, the duration of green light is set. Like these are the 2 images. This is the reference image I was talking about, and this is the instantaneous image of the road where traffic is present. So these 2 are converted to the edge detected images based on Canny edge detection in the OpenCV Python, and they are compared pixel to pixel, and the percentage of match is found. Like this is the condition which I discussed in the algorithm. Like if it is greater than 90%, 7 seconds of green signal timing, 70 to 90 12, 30 to 70 18 seconds, and less than 30 25 seconds. So this takes care of the whole algorithm, and this means that percentage of match more means the number of vehicles on this street is less. Like here it is less, so this will percentage of match will be greater than 90%. So like this the algorithm works. Now the vehicle plate detection system or the traffic violation system, it comes with this, like if a vehicle violates the traffic, the image is taken and this part is masked and cropped out, and the same thing is automatically emailed. Like here we can see it is emailed, this vehicle violates the traffic rules, and it emails to the traffic control room automatically, and this is based on the contour detection, and so on this algorithm works. Now the next we come to this GPS based car parking assistance. Here if this is a parking space, and these are the parking area, and these are the parking spaces, like there are 6 parking spaces here, and these are so this is a sample image. These 3 are covered by vehicles, these white parts, and these yellow are the circular stickers. Now after that morphological image processing, we get to this image where after opening, closing, erosion and dilation, we obtain this, and these 3 are the parking space which are available, and so this is the output. Available parking spots is 3. So here then this one is sent to this cloud, which is the ThingSpeak cloud, and it is taken to the website where this is the current vehicle location which we can see, and the nearby parking location is this is in VIT Vellore area which we have taken. We have initialized one parking area here, and here we can see the parking spots available 3. So this data is instantaneously taken to the website, and the vehicle user can see it and just go and park the vehicle here. Now next we come to the weather prediction system and weather station. Here the data is obtained after applying the decision tree algorithm. So 70% of data used as the training set and 30% as the testing set. The RPART and party packages are used are compared in this algorithm. Now here it is, so we can just see the result as party packages gives more sophisticated output than the RPART package. Here is the output, like this is the testing data set for the algorithm, like 5th Feb. We just focus on this maximum temperature. So these are the, and just predict the maximum temperature part. Similarly we can predict others, but showing purpose only maximum temperature part. In VIT Vellore we can just see 30, 31, 32, 33 and 34 are present here. So here are these, and in this part these are the other things, and based on that previous formula we take the prediction, and here we can see the output like 5th Feb. So the upcoming temperature, like for 5th Feb, upcoming means 6th Feb, the temperature will be, here the probability is 1 for 30 degrees, so it will be 30 degrees, and for 14th Feb it is the most is 33, and probability is the most for 33, so the next day's temperature, maximum temperature can be 33. Like this, the others are also, these are the probabilities, like these are demonstrated and determined by the algorithm based on this. And this is the decision tree, like if the maximum temperature is less than 30 degree, we can directly go and say that the next day's temperature will be 30 degrees, and if it is greater than 30 degree, we will again check if it is less than or greater than 31. If it is less than 31, we can go and say it is 31. If it is greater than, again we will check it is 30 less than equal to 32 or greater than 32. If it is less than equal to 32, we can say it is 32 for the upcoming max temperature, and for if it is greater than 32, we can say it is 33 for 0.8 for 80% of time, and for 20% it is 34. Now this is the smart waste management system output. Here we have included these markers as dustbins, and this is the garbage truck or the waste truck which we were talking about. Like here we can see the waste percentages are taken in this website from the Python code which we were talking about, and here 97%, 96% and 93%. So 97% is the most, so it is turned yellow, and so that truck has to go here and clear the waste. As soon as it clears the waste, it becomes 0, and next this will become yellow, which is demonstrated in the video, which the link will be given, and then if it is clear this one, it will become 0, these two will become red, and this will become yellow, then it has to go there. And similarly the process will go on, and after that the employee ID gets scanned by the RFID, and the count of each employee gets increased every time the any employee comes to clear. This is the project demonstration link. In this link, all the hardware outputs and the demonstration executions are shown for this our project web and IoT-based smart city applications. Please do have a look. So coming to our conclusion or findings, we say that our proposed system includes minimum hardware, and most parts are constructed using programming logic or software. So for these delays due to hardware components are minimized to a greater extent, and we use cloud and web platforms in the system, so we can access it from any part of the world and no data is lost for this, because even everywhere nowadays internet is present. So the cloud, the data is being uploaded to the cloud, and we can retrieve that data anytime in any format. And that smart traffic system is all about dynamic timing of green light and reduces the wastage of time for high and low traffic on the road. The car parking assistance reduces all the current problems, because we don't have to go and search for parking spaces manually anymore. For this model, we can just get the parking lot available by seeing through in the website. The party package in the weather prediction gives more sophisticated outputs for weather parameters. Just we saw in the uh, algorithm which we discussed, and this is one of the findings. And in the waste management system, it is just the dynamic scheduling of the garbage truck for collecting waste. So the system keeps track of the timestamp and the details of the truck employee who comes to clear the waste bin, which comes very handy while tracking the employees. And the dynamic scheduling is also very important, because all the waste, all the full dustbins need to be cleared first. And the overall system is cost effective and very easy to operate, and all the signaling schemes and the control are very efficient while executing the hardware. We observe that, and it reduces the human workload as it is automated, which is the most important. So this is the timeline of the project. uh, uh, all this we can see, these blue parts is where we have worked, and these are the references. So thank you, hope you liked our project.